So we're going to sing a scale, and for people who aren't familiar with singing the scale and solfege, on this sheet that says solfege review, the scale is written out. So we're going to sing up, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do, and then back down, do, si, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. And as we sing, try and keep it around, do, re, mi, fa, as opposed to do, re, mi, and where you let your, keep everything round and open. You don't have to sing super loud. Just try it up the scale and back down. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do, si, la, sol, la, mi, re, do. Good. Lissy, can you give the person who just came in a copy of the music? A summary. Okay, let's do it again. Okay, ready? Here we go. Do it again. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do, si, la, sol, la, mi, re, do. Good. Can I have that slide, Art? This is a typical major scale, and for everybody, it probably sounds fairly normal. Like if I started just playing arbitrary notes, that wouldn't sound normal or beautiful. And there's a particular pattern which I've indicated. Of course, here I don't have anyone in do, mi. Oh, here it is. See that measure number 25 on the end? People can see that? So that's a do major scale, do, re, mi, fa, and I put these little things which tell you where there is a half step. And what I mean by a half step, this is between mi and fa. It's one of the most unstable intervals. A whole step, if I went from a mi to a fa, do you hear that that's just a little bit more open? And this is really like a fly in your ear, or
Conflict.
yeah, a conflict, that's right, versus, which is still a little bit unstable, but it's not as intense as that. On the piano, when you're singing do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do, every key that's next to each other, white to black, is a half step. So if I went do, do sharp, re, re sharp, mi, fa, you notice there is no black key between these two keys. So that happens to be a half step. Similarly, there's another half step, which is right here. Everyone sees that? There's no black key in there. So if I went from this note up to that black key, that would be a half step. If I play all of these, I'm going to play this going up like this. So you hear it's called a chromatic scale, where you play every single key, white and black. It sounds like this. Right, so it doesn't, and you could start anywhere and it would sound the same. In other words, you can't tell. Conversely, suppose we said, well, I'm only going to play whole steps. So this is a whole step. That's a whole step. Where would a whole step be from that note?
F sharp.
The F sharp?
Yeah.
And then where's the whole step from that?
G sharp.
And there's another whole step?
A sharp.
Okay, and where's the next whole step?
Do.
Right, so if I played that with only whole steps, listen to it, because it'll sound weird. There's no, and I could start anywhere and it'll sound the same. If I start on, suppose I do all whole steps, I'm going to start on here on an A. So C sharp, D sharp, F. Does it do anything for you? It's now try and sing only whole steps. So we're gonna sing do, re, mi, fa sharp, sol sharp, la sharp, do. So we'll call them do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, but we know they're sharp do. Just try and sing it. Ready? Here we go. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, la, sol, la, mi, re, do. Who found that difficult? I found it's hard, right? Yeah. So there's something very harmonic about our scale, which is that way, which is why you have key signatures and so on, and that's a whole other class, but I want you to understand that. Now, you can sit down. So now let's try and identify between whole and half steps. I'm going to play an interval, and you say if it's a whole or a half step. So if I do this, is that whole or half? Whole. Can you hear that? That's what a half step would sound like is much more dissonant. How about this? Does anyone else think it's half? Will agrees. Anyone think it's a whole step? You think it's a whole step? Well, here, listen to this. That's a whole step. That's a half step. Remember, the half step is the most like that mosquito that's in your ear that keeps you from falling asleep at night. Okay, here's another one. Is that half or whole? It's irritating, so it's half. Yeah, that's right. It is a half step. Listen to the whole step. Whole step, does anyone know chopsticks? We used to play that. Anyone used to do that? That's a whole step. That's like that noise. Don't they do that on your computer or something? They have that noise. It's a whole step. Half step is... Okay, let's try this one. Yes, it's a whole step. Ian's not going to say anything. Half. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is we're going to take a key that's not on there. If you see on the Solfege review number 3, everyone sees measure number 3, what we are going to sing is a scale in Mi flat major, which means we want to have the same pattern. If you remember this, we go, what is it? It's a whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step to get our octave. So if we're going to start on a Mi flat, that's the starting point, and we want to have a major scale. What's the first note? You want to do a whole step.
Wow.
So Mi flat to Fa is a whole step. Then we want another whole step.
So.
Then we want a half step.
So sharp.
La flat.
La flat.
Okay. La flat. It's La flat in this key though. Okay, and then we want another whole step.
C flat.
C flat. Yep. And then we want another whole step. Do. Another whole step. And a half step. Mi. Mi flat, right? Mi, re, do, C flat, La flat, Sol, Fa, Mi. That gives us a scale which we find acceptable. And that's what's written down there, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Si, Do, Re, Mi. So if everyone could stand up, we're going to sing a Mi flat major scale now, starting on Mi. Okay. Ready, go. Mi, fa, sol, la, si, do, re, mi, re, do, si, la, sol, la, mi. good. So now, if I said what is the fifth of that? What's the fifth note in a Mi flat major scale? You can sit down again. Well, C flat, right? Mi, fa, sol, la, si. Mi, fa, sol, la, si. So the fifth note is C flat. That's very important. That you will find is a very important note in the key. And when we get to looking at the Bach, which is in that key, we can just sing it, sitting down, sing it. Mi, sol, si, sol, mi. Ready? Sing. Mi, sol, si, sol, mi. Now sing mi, sol, si, mi to the octave above, sol, si, mi. Try that. Mi, sol, si, mi, sol, mi. Okay, good. Remember that. We'll come back to it. Now we're going to practice a little bit reading. First, rhythms. So in measure number 5, I just very simply wrote out whole notes, half notes, quarter notes, 8th and 16th. The 4/4. Someone like to say what the 4/4 means?
4 beats of a measure, each quarter note gets beat.
Yes. Okay, did everyone get that? 4 beats in a measure, and the quarter note gets a beat. So since that big round note takes up the whole measure, that is called a whole note, and it gets 4 beats. The next measure is half notes, the next measure is quarter notes, 8th notes, and then 16th notes. So let's everyone do it speaking. We're not going to sing the note, we're just going to say it on sol, and we're going to get the rhythm. So I'm going to count one measure of 4, and then we are going to speak it in rhythm as written from measure 5 until the double bar at the end of that line. Okay, everyone ready? So I'm going to count one measure and then we do it. 1, 2, ready, go. Yeah, Cynthia, do you get it? Jared or Alan, you want to help her? We're going to do it again. Okay, so every measure is 4 beats. Let's try it one more time, and I stuck in a couple rests. So, ready? So the first note is a whole note. It takes up the whole measure. It means it gets 4 beats. Ready? I'm going to count one measure, and then we're going to do it. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. Yep, and be careful. There's a tendency, because we all get nervous when we see a lot of black, and we say, oh, it's going to go fast, and then you go too fast, right? So when you see a lot of black, you have to think, okay, it's a 16th note. Da, 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 da. You want to kind of get the rhythm in your mind so you know it's not so bad. Da, 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 da. So you don't have to panic when you get to it and go, which often happens when we're singing. Let's just do the last 2 measures of that line. So measure 8 and measure 9, the quarter notes, the 8th notes, and the 16th notes. Okay, I'm going to give you 3, 4, and then we're going to start. 3, 4. Yeah. Okay. Now we want practice identifying what the notes are in solfege. So I wrote the first ones. Does everyone see that in measure number 10? Do, sol, do, sol, do, do. Everyone sees that, right? So after that, the notes are going to all be in stepwise motion. So if you know your scale, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si, do, re, mi, or mi, do, si, la, sol, fa, mi, re, la, la, the other way, then it should be fairly easy. If you don't know what the note is, just say some syllable. You can grunt, I don't care. Just stay in time. So the main thing is to stay in time. It's as if we were in a gigantic chorus with 1,000 people. So if you don't know what's happening, you can't just sit on your note and wait, because they'll be finished and then you'll be doing a long solo at the end. So you want to keep up and just come in where you have an idea of what's going on. All right, so I'll go slowly. Starting at measure number 10, I'll give you one measure. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Do, so, do, do, so, do, 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 si, do.
Rest. Sol, la, si, do, re, mi, mi. Do, si, la, sol, fa, mi, re. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol. Sol, sol, la, si, do, re, mi, fa, sol, fa, mi, re, do. 2, 3, do. That was not too good. Let's do that again. And as I said, the time is the most important thing, and saying the right notes is the second most important thing. But the main thing is time. And I put the rests in there so I can hear when you make a mistake. Okay, so ready? I'll give you 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do, sol, do, do, sol, do, 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 si, do. Rest. Sol, la, si, do, re, mi, mi. Do, si, la, sol, fa, mi, re. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol. Sol. Rest. Sol, la, si, do, re, mi, fa, sol, fa, mi, re, do. 2, 3, do. Yeah, so if you find this hard or you can't do it quickly, take it home and write in the notes. Just write it in and practice them. Now, I'll skip the bass clef for right now, because what I want to do is look at this Wachet auf, which we're singing in the chorus. Now, the first thing about this, it's not 4/4 anymore. What does it say? 3/4. So what does that mean?
There's 3 quarter notes.
Right, 3 quarter notes in a measure, okay? 3 quarter notes in a measure. And then you have that 16 over that gigantic long black line. What does that mean? 16 measures of rest.
16 measures of rest.
Yes. So that means,
in the other music, yes.
yeah, so that means if you have something that looks like this, and what we all have, you have 16 measures of rest, and you can't see what everyone else is doing. You have to sit there. So what those of us who play wind instruments in the orchestra, when we can get rid of, can we get rid of this? Here. I'll just put something over it. We just put something over it? Okay, fine. Anyway, is that you have to count until you come in. So I always use my fingers or I lose my place. So you can sit there, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, all the way up to 16, but then you can look down in case you forget what you're doing and you can remember where you are. So you have to count for 16 measures. And then
You don't use the thumb.
I use the thumb.
You use
Yeah, because especially with 16, you want to use all your fingers, and then you're going to go farther, right? Now, when we come in, what's the first note? Mi. And it's mi flat. And isn't that interesting? What are the first 3 notes? Mi, sol, si. In other words, we just sang that, right? C represents what again? It's the fifth. It's the fifth, which is also called the dominant. The fifth note of every key is called the dominant. So if you were in Do major, what would the dominant be?
Sol.
Right? Do, re, mi, fa, sol. If you were in La, what would the dominant be?
Mi.
Right? La, si, do, re, mi. All right, if you were in Re, and Jared's not allowed to answer, or Ian. If you're in Re, what is the dominant?
La.
La. Yeah. Re, mi, fa, sol, la. Right? If I said to everyone, I want you to count from the number 2, I want you to go up 5, no one would have a problem. They'd say, well, that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, I hope people, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? Or that's the same as adding 4, interestingly enough. But in your numbers, you know it. What you want is the solfege to be as easy as numbers, right? Or the alphabet, although most of us can't do the alphabet backwards very well. But anyway, so that's what we want with the solfege. So I told you that the dominant was an important note. Now let's look at what Bach has written. Let's sing it. The first few measures, we're going to all sing the soprano part. So why doesn't everyone stand up? And so we don't all run out of air, we're going to do a fast 3 because you see we have all these dotted half notes. So each one has to be held for 3 beats. Okay, and we're going to sing them on the solfege syllables. Here we go. So it'll be 1, 2, 3. Mi, sol, si, 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 do, si. Now, would you say Bach considers the dominant to be dominant? In other words, how many times did we sing the note C? I mean, yeah, most of the time. Okay, so that is an important, but nonetheless, you wouldn't feel satisfied if we said the piece ended here. And then it goes on. Let's continue this. You can sing it down an octave if you want. Mi, si, mi, because some people have lower voices, okay? So we'll sing it down there if you want.
The second
1,
line.
starting after 2 measures of rest. So we'd count 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3. Si, si, mi, si, mi, sol, la, mi, re, do, si. So there we are again. We ended on C again. Okay? Now, let's continue and do the last part. You can do whatever octave you want. So 3 measures, 3. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3. Ready? Si, mi, si, do, sol, la, mi. Now, does that feel like it could be the end? Yeah, and because you're back down on me. So the dominant has a function where it's like a platform, like when we were looking at poetry. Let's see. Yeah, twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder where you are, right? You have a certain line where you know it's not quite the end, but it's a resting, it's somewhat stable. It's just not as stable as coming all the way back to the bottom. And the other thing that we'll see about the relationship between the key, which is called the tonic, and the dominant, is it's a rotating point when you have a fugue. So let's now look at the alto part, okay? The first note in the alto part is C. Si, do, re, si, mi. So let's everybody sing the alto part, where you come in on the alto part. I'll give you 1, 2, 3, 1, and then we all come in, sing it on the solfege. 1, 2, 3, 1. Si, do, re, si, mi, si, sol, mi, fa, la. Yeah, let's do that again. Everyone didn't seem to do it already. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 1. Si, do, re, si, mi, si, mi, fa, la. 1. Sol, do, mi, re, sol, do, mi, re, do, si, fa, sol, do, mi, fa, re, mi, fa. You definitely don't feel like you're at the end of the piece. Let's do it again. Alto part on solfege. Si, do, re, si, mi. Okay? 2, 3, 1. Si, do, re, si, mi, si, mi, fa, la. 1. Sol, do, mi, re, sol, do, mi, re, do, si, fa, sol, do, mi, fa, re, mi, fa. Good. Now let's look at the tenor part. The tenor comes in after the alto. What note does the tenor come in on? Mi. But isn't that kind of like what the alto just did, only starting in another place? Mi, fa, sol, mi, si.
It goes along the line of this.
Mi, fa, sol, mi, si. Now the alto went si, do, re, si, mi. So you have one of them that goes to the tonic, and you have another one that goes to the dominant. For example, si, do, re, si, mi. That interval from si to mi, is that a fifth? What is it? Si, do, re, mi. It's a fourth. It's a fourth. Si, mi is a fourth. But we already said if you go the other way, from mi to si is a fifth. Right? So with the tenor, you're going up a fifth. Mi, fa, sol, mi, si. That's a fifth. Mi, si. In the alto, you go up a fourth. Si, do, re, si, mi. If I do mi, si, mi, going up from mi to si is how big? Mi, fa, sol, la, si. Fifth. And if I go from si up to mi, how big is that?
Fourth.
A fourth. Si, la, what is si, do, re, mi is a fourth. So you could say that a fifth and a fourth are an inversion of each other. Do you see why that is? If I go down a fourth, mi down to si, is the same note as if I go up a fifth. Everyone got that? It'll become more clear.
Yeah,
What I'd like to,
it seems tricky when you first hear that,
yeah,
because it's like, because you're going from, you're going down 4 instead of up 5, but you're hitting on the same note,
right.
you know?
Yeah,
So
yeah, so you
it's a
just
little-
have to listen. What I would like to do is, what we're gonna do is we're gonna sing the alto, and then we're gonna jump down and sing the tenor. And then let's look at the bass part. That's now bass clef, so I'll just tell you, the first note is a C, just like the alto. Si, do, re, si, mi. Recognize that? The bass part is exactly the same as the alto. So let's have everyone sing the bass part for 1 second, okay? 1, 2, 3, 1. Si, do, re, si, mi. Good. Now let's sing the tenor one, which starts on mi. 2, 3, 1. Mi, fa, sol, mi, si. Do that one again. 2, 3, 1. Mi, fa, sol, mi, si. Now let's do the alto one. 2, 3, 1. Si, do, to do is we're going to sing, and we're going to jump down by parts. So we're going to sing the alto part to the mi, then we're going to sing the tenor part to the C, then we're going to sing the bass part. Everyone got that? So you sing 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. You jump down when you get to the first beat of the next measure. And interestingly, you'll notice that the first beat of the next measure is the same as the second beat down a part. So you never have to guess to figure out what your note is. Everyone see that? So you're going to go Si, Do, Re, Si, Mi, and then the tenor starts on Mi. Mi, Fa, Sol, Mi, Si, and then the bass starts on Si. Okay? So let's try it. We're going to jump down. 2, 3,
We'll start on alto.
1. Si, Do, Re, Si, Mi, Mi, Fa, Sol, Mi, Si, Si, Do, Re, Si, Mi. Isn't that interesting? Now, look at what the soprano does. Mi, sol, si, si, do, re. Right? So now let's sing the soprano part and jump down to the alto part after we do the first measure. Okay? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Mi, sol, si, si, do, re, si, mi, fa, sol, mi, si, si, do, re, si, mi. Yeah. Now, this time, just for fun, because the bass part is so much fun, why don't we continue on the bass part, okay? And then we're going to end this. Okay? So start with the soprano part, and then jump down by part, and then stay on the bass part till the end. Ready? 2, 3. Mi, sol, si, si, do, re, si, mi, fa, sol, mi, si, si, do, re, si, mi, si, la, sol, fa, mi, 1. Mi, fa, si, si. And again, that note. So that's all. We'll stop there. Please think about this. Don't think too hard. Just let it kind of soak in. It'll make more sense next week. Okay.